Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's a happy day for all, especially for this great new class of recruits, troopers today. Let's give them a round of applause and congratulate them for all their good work. We honor their hard work, we honor their accomplishment, but the truth is, at the same time, they didn't do it alone. They had a support structure around them. They had mothers, they had fathers, they had wives, they had children, they had significant others who went through this experience with them, who went through the tough days and the tough nights and the questions of doubt and the long weekends. And let's give that support structure a round of applause, all the people who are here today, for making today possible. They also did it with the great support of a truly talented team of professionals as the leadership of the state police, and in this particular regard, led by Major Robin Benziger. Let's give them a round of applause. And Robin Benziger, we applaud you. I also learned a lesson at this graduation ceremony last year. I've been governor for 2.5 years. Last year was my first time addressing the graduating class of the state police. And it was a big deal because it was the first graduating class in the state police in a long time. We hadn't had the resources to have a graduating class, so it was a very big deal. And I came and I was giving this speech last year, and I was looking at the new recruits, and I was, what I thought was being funny, and I looked at the troopers, and not a face moved. And I went a little further, and I gave a dramatic crescendo, and not a face moved. And I was going through the speech, I said, this is probably the worst speech I have ever given. I am getting no reaction from this crowd. So I left, and I didn't want to say anything because it was kind of awkward. Either I gave a really terrible speech that evoked no emotion whatsoever, or something happened to the graduating class where they came out as robots. I got back to the office, and I broached the topic delicately, and I was told, no, they're put at attention when they sit down, so they can't respond to anything you say, and they can't show any facial emotion. So I learned. So this year I'm not going to speak to you with all due respect because it is very unnerving to speak to a group of people who give nothing back. I've dealt with that in other aspects of my life, but not today in this context. So I want to speak to you, the families who are here today, the friends who are here today, and how important this day really is. But I have a gift for the graduating class that I'll give them when they get their diplomas, and that is a little pin that I wear. It's a pin that I designed before I became governor when I was preparing to get ready for governor. And I was trying to think of what it really is all about, what public service is all about, what the mission is all about, what the enterprise is all about, and how to keep it clear and how to keep focused and how to keep centered. And I came up with just a few words that I put on a pin, and I wear the pin every day, and the people who work with me, and for me, it says it all. It has first the great seal of the great state of New York in the middle of the pin to remind us of the beautiful heritage of this state. And then it has 3 words in one sentence. The first word is performance. I am a public servant. We are public servants. You are graduating to become public servants today. And as a public servant, you are expected to perform. You are expected to accomplish things with proficiency. You have a set of skills. You have a set of talents that we are enlisting today to serve the public. Now, every class, every period of public service has a particular set of challenges that they are now going to meet. If you became a state police officer during the 60s, you were dealing with a period of civil unrest and anti-war demonstrations, etc. If you became a state police officer in the 80s, you were dealing with a crack epidemic. If you became a state police officer right after 9/11, it would have been the fear that the terrorist attack raised. And I can argue that becoming a state police officer today, you have probably the greatest set of challenges that we have seen thus far, because you have all of the above. You had everything they had in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, plus you have new challenges. You have the civil unrest, you have a world at war, you have economic anxiety, you have drugs just as potent, just as dangerous as anything. You have methamphetamines, you have bath salts. Every month it seems like they're coming up with a new drug to combat. Plus you have terrorism, and sophisticated terrorism and cyber terrorism that we never even heard of just a few years ago. And then you have challenges posed by Mother Nature, which are new and worse and different than anything we've seen before. 2.5 years as governor, we've already seen 3 storms: Storm Irene, Storm Lee, Hurricane Sandy, that devastated so many parts of this state. But these are relatively new threats. Certainly the frequency is new and worse. And that is the world that you are being asked to help, and that is the world that you're being asked to serve, to perform. A set of skills, a set of talents to help people through those challenges. The second word is integrity. Why? Because any relationship is only as good as the level of trust. I don't care if it's a spousal relationship, if it's a friendship, if it's a child-parent relationship. The relationship is only as good as the level of trust. And trustworthiness is really a question of your integrity and your character. And can we trust you? Do you have the integrity and the character to be trusted? That is especially true when you are in a position of authority. Because the position of authority doesn't come from the gun. The authority doesn't come from the badge. It doesn't come from the uniform. It comes from the character and the trust and the integrity that those symbols represent. The antithesis to authority is hypocrisy, when you don't have that level of integrity and you don't have that level of trust. Now, there's 2 types of integrity. There's institutional integrity, which is the integrity of the collective, the integrity of the state police as an institution, the reputation of the state police as an institution. And there I am proud to say, over the past 2.5 years, you have seen more advancements to the reputation and the integrity to the state police than you had in decades before. The state police over the past 2.5 years have done extraordinary work for the people of this state, recognized by all, with almost flawless performance. And for that, I'd like to take a moment and recognize Superintendent Joe D'Amico and the leadership of the state police. Let's give them a round of applause for all the good work they've done. But integrity also has personal integrity. And you will become state police officers, and you will be the families of state troopers, and your house will be the house on the block where the state trooper lives. And your family will be the family of the state trooper. And you will be held to a higher standard. You're in a position of authority. You're holding yourself out. You're representing that you're in a position of authority. And your personal integrity is also going to be a factor. And yes, a trooper once said to me after a discussion on an incident, well, you're holding us to a higher standard. Yes, you're holding yourself to a higher standard because you are a member of the state police force in a position of authority. And that is not something you leave at work. That you are a member of the state police 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The third word is pride. Why? Because if you are performing, and you are performing with integrity, then you should be proud. You should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of the institution that you represent, proud of the tradition, proud of the uniform, proud of the legacy and the history of the state police and what it represents. Proud that you work for the greatest state in the nation, the great state of New York. Those are the three words: performance, integrity, and pride. With one sentence: I work for the people. I work for the people. It sounds simple enough, but actually it's not that simple, because some days it will get complicated, and some days it will get confusing, and some days there will be cross currents, and everybody will have an opinion, and everybody will have a perspective, and the local elected official will have an opinion, and the newspaper will have an opinion, and the perpetrator will have an opinion. Everybody will have an opinion. And as a centering mechanism, I work for the people. At the end of the day, the responsibility that you carry is to the people of this state. You work for the people. You are employed by the people of the state. And that says it all. Now, it says the people. It doesn't say a person, because you will run into, from time to time, a person who says, I'm a taxpayer and you work for me. I run into this about 5 times a week on average. The bully with a large mouth who says, you work for me. You don't work for a person. You work for the people, which is different, because the people is the collective. The people is the community. And you don't work for an individual. You work for all individuals as part of that community. And you work to strengthen the community. And no individual right is stronger than the right of the collective and the right of the community. And that, to me, says it all. Performance, integrity, pride, I work for the people. Your job at the end of the day is to help make this state a better state, and to help the people in this state, and to strengthen the concept of community. And we need you desperately, because this world that we are in today is a scary, frightening world. And to a frightened world, they look at you, and they look at the uniform, and they look at your strength, and they look at your talent, and that gives them a sense of confidence. And that gives them a sense of comfort. And whether you are arresting a bad guy, or you're keeping someone company on a dark road one night, or you're the ride to safety when the floodwaters are rising, you actually make this state a better state. And we honor your service, and we honor your dedication, and we are thankful, selfishly, that you are doing what you're doing. And you make us proud that we are part of today. So perform your job with excellence. Live your life with integrity. Be proud of what you do, and be proud of who you are. Go forth and do great work for the state of New York. We're proud to have you. Thank you.